What's up, everyone? Episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier just came out on Disney+, so let's take a look. Real quick, this video is going to have spoilers for the first 5 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so if you haven't watched the new episode, make sure you watch that episode before you watch this review. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Tell me what you thought of this week's episode. Anyways, let's get on with the review. So this episode starts off with John Walker running away after the events of last episode, where he obviously killed the guy in the streets with everyone watching. So he gets tracked down by Falcon and Bucky, and they want the shield from him, and they want to kind of capture him and bring him in. So they get into this big fight, and there's a pretty good action scene where Falcon and Bucky are fighting John Walker, and they end up getting the shield from him, and they break his arm, which is kind of a brutal scene, I guess. So essentially, he's going to be brought back to the U.S., and Falcon now has the shield. And then pretty much the next scene, I think, is John Walker's back in the United States, and he's kind of at his trial for what he did. Essentially, he's getting everything removed from him, all his medals and all his honors and whatever, and his rank in the military. So he's getting all that removed from him, and all his service records and all that. So he's not going to face any criminal charges, but he's going to pretty much be removed of all his ranks. So that was kind of his consequence for what he did. It kind of happened really quick, which is kind of weird for the show, because it kind of had this big cliffhanger, and then all of a sudden, first 10 minutes of the episode, it's like it didn't even happen. And then there's a scene where Bucky, he meets Zemo in some place. He pretends to shoot him with a gun, but he doesn't. Then the Wakanda soldiers show up, and they take Zemo away. They said where he was taken. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know if it was prison or not, but he sounds like he's going to be out of the show, at least at this point. That's really his plot of the show is done, which was nice that one of the 3 plots going in the show, the Zemo plot, the John Walker plot, and the Flag Smashers plot, it was nice that one of them ended this episode, because there was a lot going on for only 2 episodes left. So it's nice that we can kind of put that one in the back of our heads now that that plot's over, though it wasn't necessarily an intriguing, satisfying end to the plot. It was what it was. And then Falcon goes to that super soldier's house that we saw back in episode 2, I believe. I don't recall his name, but he essentially tells Falcon about his struggles as a black super soldier in America, and kind of the bad things that happened to him by the hands of America, or the United States. And he and this whole scene's kind of about what he thinks of Captain America, what he thinks Captain America symbolizes, and kind of Falcon trying to understand what he thinks it means and what he should do about it. And overall, this was a pretty long discussion scene. And it's really one of the main themes. Really, the main theme in this episode is Captain America, and this kind of what does Captain America mean, like I just said. So this scene touched on that quite a bit. Then the next scene, Falcon and Bucky go to Falcon's sister's fish business area, and they're kind of helping her out with the fish stuff. And once again, this scene touches more on what's Falcon going to do with the shield, and what does Captain America mean, and what does that mean to Falcon, and stuff like that. And it touches on that quite a bit. And then the next scene, it shows John Walker after he gets obviously taking all his medals away. He goes to Lamar's family's house, and he's essentially tells them what happened, but he lies. He says he killed the guy that killed Lamar, even though that's not true. Carly got away, and she's the person who killed him. So then they're oh, it brings us peace that you got the guy that killed him. I thought that kind of dialogue from them was kind of on the head, and really just served to set up John Walker going after Carly in the next episode, likely. I thought that dialogue was kind of lazy, because it didn't really feel like something someone would actually say. I don't think they would have a real reaction to the person getting him. I don't know. It felt really lazy, and it just served to set up what's coming next with John Walker, not necessarily what real people would actually say in the situation. That's at least what I thought about it. And then there's a scene where Bucky and Falcon are throwing the shield around, and Falcon says he's going to become Captain America, and that he can kind of change what it means, and what it means to be Captain America in America, stuff like that. And then there's a kind of cool training scene where he's doing all this Captain America training stuff. And so that was a pretty nice scene. And then the episode ends with Carly and the Flag Smashers. They're going to New York City to bomb this vote that's going to hurt immigrants, or the United States is going to send away a lot of immigrants, or something like that. So they're going to attack it to some extent. Then there's an after scene where it shows John Walker essentially recreating the Captain America shield. Once again, he's going to be involved in the next episode to some extent. He's probably going to be the bad guy in the next episode. We're going to see a lot of that. But there's this big plot set up where we have the Flag Smashers who are going to be attacking this New York place. Falcon and Bucky are probably going to get involved, and then John Walker is going to get involved. And that's really, I think, is going to be the plot for the last episode. Overall, I like this episode for the most part. Not a whole lot happened aside from Falcon essentially saying he's going to become Captain America to some extent. I don't know if it's going to be like a Falcon Captain America or he's just going to put on the Captain America threads and that's what he's going to be wearing. But to some extent, he's going to carry the shield, it looks like. The action in this episode at the beginning was really good. It's really well like choreographed fight. It looked really good. And there's a lot of like cool kind of little like spots in it. Like really cool action bits. And it was a really nice scene to open the episode off. And I thought it was pretty cool. It was a pretty nice fight following the events that happened last episode. I thought they did a good job setting it up. It happened really quickly, where you have this cliffhanger that immediately 10 minutes in, it's like it didn't happen, like I said earlier. But it happened really quickly, so I didn't like that, but I liked the way they went about it. I mean, I think all the scenes in this episode were quite good. They all serve their purpose at developing the story. But I'm really not sure how this show is going to end next week. Obviously, we only have one episode left. It's probably going to be like an hour long or so. I feel like everything's kind of underdeveloped. The plot is kind of underdeveloped, so you don't really kind of have emotional ties to what's happening. So I think that's really unfortunate, and that might hurt the show in the long run. And for me, the Flag Smashers especially are really underdeveloped. I don't really know what to think about them. Are they good? Are they bad? I really don't understand them, because it seems like we're supposed to like sympathize with them. At least at times it feels like we're supposed to sympathize with their motives. But like Falcon and Bucky, who are the main heroes in the story, they're straight up like anti-Flag Smashers. So I don't understand really where they stand in the show and kind of what they're doing and what their goal is. And it doesn't show a lot, and when it does show stuff they're doing, it doesn't really make sense. So I think the Flag Smashers have been the biggest miss of the show so far. I still personally like what they did with the new Captain America, kind of having this soldier who obviously he's a good soldier, then you're making him Captain America, so all of a sudden he has to live up to these expectations. It got really intense really fast, which once again I think that goes back to the underdeveloped aspect, because he's this new Captain America. It went really quickly from him being kind of like hopeful Captain America with a whole lot of expectations, and people are kind of rooting against him. It went really quickly from that to him kind of just turning mad and becoming like crazy and wanting to be more powerful and stuff like that. I really hope he's not straight up going to be the villain in the last episode. I hope he has like a redeeming moment in the last episode or something like that. I don't want him to just be straight up the villain and then, Falcon kills him or they arrest him or something, because that's super lame. I hate it when shows or movies have these villains who you can relate to at first and you kind of understand, and then they just turn mad in the end and then that's it. I think his character is very complex, and he's not necessarily evil. He's just kind of a good guy who's made a lot of mistakes, and he's kind of crumbled under the expectations that people have of him. But it seems like he's going to be the main villain heading into this last episode, or at least one of the main villains. And that's another issue with the show, is you don't really know who's the villain. Is it John Walker or is it the Flag Smashers? Or are they both villains, or are they not, or are neither of them villains? It's really confusing, and not necessarily in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way either. Just, you don't really know what's happening. Hopefully it'll all make sense by the end of the next episode. I like that the show is finally doing something with Falcon, as I think personally that he's kind of like last like 3 or 4 episodes, he's just been like floating around, not really doing anything, and they're not really developing his character when this show promised that it would develop Falcon as a character. It's good to see that they're finally doing that, as it seems like he's going to become Captain America. And obviously there's a lot more development to that in what it means for him to be Captain America, not just grabbing the shield, but for him to become Captain America. So it's really cool that he's getting development. I think he's a very underdeveloped hero in the MCU, so it's nice to see that they're finally starting to do it. It took them long enough, but it's nice, and I'm excited to see what he looks like as Captain America. Is he going to have the old suit, or is he going to have some, I'm guessing he's going to have some form of like red and black suit or something. But anyway, we're going to have to see next week. But overall, it's hard to judge this episode, because like I said, not a ton happened aside from obviously the big Falcon becoming Captain America. To an extent, obviously he kind of realized he wants to be Captain America. He's not really Captain America yet. The show for me still remains very watchable, as the dialogue I think is written in a way where it all feels meaningful, and it feels like it progresses the story, and it feels like everything they're saying is important. So despite kind of there being a lack of action for a show that kind of promised action, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I feel like the dialogue scenes serve their purpose and they are entertaining to an extent. I just think the dialogue's written very well in the show, and that goes a long way in making a show watchable when you're not going to have a ton of explosive action to carry it. My biggest issues with the show and this episode, like I said, are underdevelopment of plot and characters, and I don't think the show's really had a clear direction. With one episode left, it's still not clear on where it's going to end up, what's going to happen at the end of the episode. And not that it should be obvious what's going to happen, but you want to have some expectations, because if you don't have any expectations, then the show can't live up to any expectations. But anyways, I think those are some of the issues that the show has faced so far. I'll talk more about them next week when I kind of review the entire series. But once again, I did like this episode. It set up an intriguing premise heading into the finale, though not a lot happened this episode. It was still very watchable. I enjoyed the episode. It was pretty good, and I'm really excited to see what happens next week. Though I don't necessarily have predictions. I think John Walker as Captain America is going to die, though I'd like to see him have some like heroic death. I think he's going to die, and I think something's going to happen with the Flag Smashers. They're kind of going to be revealed as like this anti-hero kind of group to some extent. They can come to an agreement or something. I think that's what's going to happen. But anyways, it's hard to tell due to the kind of lack of details we have. Anyway, so that will do it for my review of episode 5 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the episode. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.